Welcome to PenTellectual Conversations. You've just stepped into a space where the mind meets the soul. A place where poetry and conversation collab to form a silky, smooth vibe that flows like smooth jazz. Dope poetry, deep dialogue, and unapologetically real energy. So pour your favorite drink, light one up if that's your rhythm, and let the world outside melt away. So sit back, relax, and let's get into tonight's hot topic.
What's good, PenTellectuals? Welcome back to another and final episode of the season. Tonight we sit down with a man whose work, heart, and leadership have shaped communities across Texas and beyond. He is widely respected for his lifelong service to children, families, and those society forgets too easily. He holds a bachelor's in social work from the Stephen F. Austin, a master's in social work from UT Arlington, and a PhD from the legendary Survivors Academy of Them Streets University, a degree no classroom can teach. And he's an Army veteran, a published poet, a professional storyteller, and a dedicated advocate. He is also a voting member of both the NAACP Image Awards and the Recording Academy. He serves on multiple boards and has recently completed criteria for Grammy consideration and continues to uplift youth aging out of the foster care system through a program called TRACK. Some call him the spoken word savant, others conference whisperer. He is an award-winning speaker, a poet, actor, advocate, and arguably one of the hardest working men in the moment. From East Texas, everybody please give it up for the incomparable Mr. Mike Guinn. What's good, man? Welcome to the show.
Man, you did that bio, bro. You did that right there, man. We're gonna hire you. We're gonna hire you over here, boy, in Texas. Thank you, man. I'm so honored. I'm so honored.
Oh man, I feel the same, man. I'm glad to have you here. I know I've been a feature on Verbs and Vibes, and that's one of those shows that's just a real experience, man. I want to tell you thank you again for that opportunity. That was a really dope moment.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's get things started. Where did your love for poetry first begin?
My love for poetry began when I was like 9 years old, man. I was growing up in East Texas, which is the country. We didn't do a lot of stuff, except have fun outdoors. So one day we were burning trash in the backyard, and I suffered something exploded, and I suffered first, second, and third degree burns, and I spent a lot of times in a hospital. So I started writing poetry at 9 years old, and while I was in the hospital, then I left it alone until like 2002, like years later. And I was, man, I was. It's always been therapy for me, man. I was sitting at my desk. I came in from a long day of working as a CPS investigator, and I came in. It was just heavy, man. All the stuff I see, you know what I'm saying, and it just all came rushing on me, and I just started crying. So I put my head on my desk. I lifted I started crying. And then when I lifted my head, I had a pen in my hand. And the first thing I wrote was, "What good is my master's degree if I can't be the master of me?" And after that, everything came pouring out. And the rest is history.
That's dope. That's a hell of an origin story. What was your first experience performing in front of a live audience?
You know what, man? My first experience was with an actual like poetry society, like the State Federation of Poetry Society. So they had a performance poetry, and mind you, it's white folks. You know what I'm saying? It's all them. But I didn't know no better. So what I did is I wrote a poem called "That Rope." And I dressed up like a slave with a tattered pants, and I walked in with a noose around my neck, and I read this poem and won that competition. I think they were scared of me. That was my first
Understandably
performance, man.
so. That was the first one, right?
Yes.
So like, man, like I can only imagine the faces of you performing that piece in front of people who didn't look like you.
Right.
Like, was there any fear in that, or was it just this what it is? Y'all gonna take what I give you?
That's it right there. Because back then, I didn't know enough to be PC. Yeah, I was professional, but performance realms, I didn't know that there were things I couldn't do or things I had to ease up on. I had to ease into. So, but there was no fear, man. There was fear after that because I didn't know. I was learning the protocol. I was learning, how to read the room. But at the but no fear.
No fear. Love that. Y'all hear that? No fear, man. Speak what's on your mind, man. Let it go. That's what we here for. That's what we do. We are the emotions medicine.
Right.
Who were the artists or voices that influenced you early in your journey?
Typically Langston, Maya Angelou, the usual folks. But Saul Williams, Talam Acey, these folks. Queen Sheba, a group
Mm,
called Orion, and out of Dallas. Kibo Rainey, some folks that around here that were doing things locally, but had national recognition for doing what they do. So they kind of helped shape, this whole way of if you're gonna do it, you got to do it, do it for real. You got to go all in. So those folks right there, that academia tempered with the spoken word kind of created a different type of presentation for my work, and I still do that today. I try to create a storytelling, academic, but still spoken word conversational style for the audiences. For the audiences.
so East Texas. I don't know a whole lot about East Texas, but I heard what you said about the countryside, and I'm country as they come. Like, is there any elements of that environment that shaped your storytelling?
Yeah, man. Growing up in East Texas, man, I'm from Jacksonville High School. What shaped it was growing up and mom, dad. Dad was a gambler and did a lot of other things besides actually having a full-time job. You know what I'm talking about. And then
Oh
mom
yeah,
was
yeah,
work.
yeah.
Yeah, mom was work, and pretty white collar as far as she was a housekeeper. She, added legitimacy to the household. And then it was five boys, no sisters, five boys, man.
Mm.
So that right there was a lot. I was pretty much the black sheep of the family, Mr. Goody Two Shoes. I'd go to school, I'd read, I'd learn Spanish. I thought I knew everything. So, I was, and of course I snitch on everybody because that's just how I was. You know, I, um, so it was a lot of fights. Mom and dad and I, man, we couldn't get along. So I went to live with my grandmother. Grandmother did the rest of it. Everything else she instilled in me. All the gaps that were left when, with mom and dad. Mom and dad were young parents, so they were young. You know what I'm saying? And dad was 6'9", mine was 5'2". Do the math. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
all the sons are over 6 foot. You know what I'm saying? But he was rough, and so I had the country, that country living, a small town mentality, but I wanted more. So I got into, I started watching TV, man, and I was watching this movie called The World's Greatest Athlete, and it was where Tim Conway and James from Good Times, they helped this little boy find his calling. So I saw him do something, man, where he took a pole and he ran, he jumped over something, pole vault. So that's how I got in the pole vault in a small town, and that was my ticket out of that small town because I was able to get a scholarship. Only black pole vault in the state at that time.
Shit, you might be the only black pole vaulter. You definitely the only one I've never heard of. Like,
No, it's a lot about them, man. It's a lot
so before poetry like became your path, like what did you truly imagine your life would look like?
Well, you know what? I imagine myself doing community service. I imagine myself as a social worker. I pursued that, got a bachelor's in social work and a master's in social work. So that was pretty much my path right there. Community service, a lot of volunteer work, trying to help save and stop people from getting whoopings like I used to get. You know what I'm saying? In other words, the real whoopings, the kind that you
The
leave home
real one.
because, yeah. So, so that's what I saw myself as. I saw myself doing a lot of community and social service stuff, and I did before social work. That's what I wanted to do. Um, I I excelled at the gift of gab. Even back then, I used to work at a state mental hospital, and I used to be able to talk, clients down from suicide and stuff like that. So that's where I decided that, you know what, I'm gonna go back to school and get this bachelor's in social work, and so that's what I did, man. But it's just that gift of gab. We all got it. All poets have that ability to read the room and know what to say, when to say it, and how to say it. So that's before the poetry, it had already started, but it was just used in a different way.
So I'm gonna ask you one more question before I give you the stage. Do you do you see your childhood more as something that you survived or something that shaped you?
I think a little bit of both, man. To be honest, but if I were leaning more towards, I'd say something that shaped me because of my grandmother. I lived with her, and she instilled a lot of values that I still do. Honesty, keep your word, be on time, start on time, work hard, don't steal, stuff like that. So I'd like to say that, yeah, it shaped me more than I had to survive from it.
Bet, bet. All right. So I'm gonna step aside and let you do what you do. The real reason why people came through. Right now, Mr. Mike Guinn, the mic and stage is yours.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I've chosen these three poems. One of them I'll start off with. It's a love poem, a poem I wrote, a first love poem I wrote to then a girlfriend living in Sacramento, California back in 2004, and it's called Every Day. Here it is. If I could capture a rainbow, I'd wrap you in my favorite colors and paint you perfect. And if you truly knew you the way I do, you'd know why I'd get down on my hands and knees, reach inside my soul, gather moonbeams and starlight, arrange them in a beautiful bouquet, place them at your feet and say, I grew those for you. And every day, all I do is think of ways to do and say more than I did the day before to tell you how much I miss you. And right now, all I want to do, all I ever want to do, is to taste you Tuesday, wake you Wednesday, quit your Thursdays till Friday, then sit Saturday, sipping your Sundays till Monday. You see, I just want to love you daily. I want you to get sprung in the spring, sizzle in the summer, feast on me falling, calling as you and I anticipate the autumn and get buck wild with the waste in winter, because my love is all the seasons you need. I want you to go crazy as I slide off your Januaries, pull down your February's, March, right up in between your Aprils as May becomes June, and your July lays naked in the August of my September until you remember that October was with my naughty November ease inside your delicious December. Listen, all I'm trying to say is I want to love you every day. All right, all right, all right. Love poem, love poem. Sometimes when you write all the darkness, you have to write through the darkness to get to the light. And that was my first poem coming out of that darkness, y'all. So here is where I started writing poetry. Um, that day that I came in from that long day in CPS, I started writing stuff that really, really helped me answer some questions about my life. So this poem I dedicate to my mom, and it's a poem called Bastard. You said I was born a bastard. That's what you told me, mama. Dark moon from your nightmare, half and half but not whole of a sum from a story retold over and over again from the center of my soul. I was just 3 minutes removed from being torn from the uterus of then back when the sun turned its back and shadows cried. And even though just a seed, I could still feel you bleed from daddy's dirty deed, but he was the bastard, mama, not me. I remember swimming inside you as you lay near death. And when you were well enough to feel my movement, your anger and resentment rumbled like thunder. And I wondered how much longer I had to be before you got rid of me. And even though an unwanted fetus, I knew who I was, mama, your son, the unchosen one. But in the ovum of that moment, I felt you concede my existence, no longer resisting the urge to murder the unborn metaphor and leave me lying in a pool of aborted promises. And that day was the day I learned to escape danger by dodging coat hangers, jabbing with the anger of the desperate stranger you become. That day, I felt you scraping and screaming as you squatted to be free of me, and you almost did, mama, but I hung on, clinging to your womb like a dangling participle, clutching a poem yet written. I survived, mama. I survived to prove that the statistics just don't fit, and I ain't nobody's damn misfit. And I can still hear you screaming, boy, you ain't gonna be shit. But I am. Now I will no longer be a pawn for food stamps or income tax, because I am more than that. I am more. I am more than just sperm jettisoned from the tomb of my father's already limp affections. I am more than that. I am more. And I wish you loved me like I loved you. I loved you, mama. Still, you said I was born a bastard. So this poem is for all those times you beat me for looking like him. And this line is the tie that binds me to the umbilical of those moments where you made me feel like a weed without roots at the foot of an empty family tree, because there was no one there, just me. But I am not like my father, mama. I am living proof that flowers can bloom from deceit. I am not like my father, mama, because 1% of you inside me is the reason why I believe, and we've come a long way from belt buckles and criticism, and I just want you to know that all the love I ever knew grew to create me from you. And I'm gonna take all this power and all this rage and leave my heart and soul on the PenTellectual stage for you, because I am not a bastard, mama. I'm a poet. I'm a social worker. I'm a man. I made it. And one day, my metaphors will open up heaven's doors and leave chirpers across the sky. And that day, that glorious, wonderful day, you and I will soar. Happy Mother's Day, mama. Woo, okay, all right. Little emotional, got me a little emotional there, y'all. Okay, sorry about that. All right. Um, this next piece is a piece I dedicate to my grandmother. It's a poem. It's actually on my album, but it's a spiritual piece, and it's called Wings. To you, Grandma. High up in the clear blue sky, I rise, soaring in symphonies, gliding upon an orchestra of freedom. Now, as I fly, I take a deep breath and taste the sun laughing in lemon drops, while soft candy cottons leaves smiles upon my face. And this moment becomes the sweetest memory I've ever known. Wings don't fail me now. Heaven howls a rhapsody that beckons the air beneath these wings to be at my command forever. Strong, bold breezes cool the aches of my feathers, ruffling them with melodies, killing them softly with wind songs, guiding me back home where I belong. Somehow, I have to find my way to tomorrow. You see, my destiny is waiting for me there, hiding between drum beats, waiting in between whispers, caressing my soul with the sound of silence. And as I spread these wings, I'll cut like black thunder, slicing the sky, creating soliloquies against the wind, and set the night on fire. You see, nothing will stop my flight because I plan on flying forever. So wings, don't fail me now. I'm almost home for Grandma.
I have to admit something. So I've heard you say a poem before. This is my first time, and I'm honored. My first time ever just hearing you spit, bro. Like, I knew you was dope, but I ain't know this was like heroin. Like, you that man, that piece about your mom, bro. Like, there's a lot of us out there that can relate to that piece so much. Like, and it's just this is how you end a season. This is definitely how you end the season, man. Man. So we getting ready to pay some bills real quick, do some sponsorship stuff, and we listen to our music artists of tonight, and we gonna come right back to you. Man, this I can't wait till the second half of this. I'm all anxious and shit. All right, man. Let's go ahead and get to these sponsors, man. Of course, you have me, Paul Cram, the poet, aka Drip of All Trades. I'll be ready soon for y'all to be hitting me up to book me for things, but right now, just give me a little bit minute. Also, we're sponsored by Natasha Inspired Crafts and Events, Desi Beats, TNT Business Consulting, and Coastal Sunflower Body Scrubs, where you just add the .com to get you some. Make sure for all your needs, for anything that you see on this page, reach out to these people, and they will definitely take care of everything that you need. With this being the last episode, if you are still looking to become a guest in the new season, which begins, January 6th, if you want some PenTellectual merch to support the movement, if you would like to have your music promoted here at the PenTellectual stage, use that QR code or click on that link that's floating right there, and you can take care of everything that we just got finished talking about. If you want to make a donation towards PenTellectual Conversations, our Cash App is floating right there, $ and PenTellectuals, because again, this show is not just a show. This is a movement, and movements must be financed. So there is not an amount too small, not an amount too big. Love y'all. Thank y'all. So now we are getting ready to go to our music artists. And I've already asked this question. And there we go. And tonight we have a song called Legacy by Eternity. So let's see what it is. Let's run it.
Have you ever felt your heart break in real time? That's exactly how I felt the day my mama died. New Year's Eve of 11, one that I can't forget. Cause 6 a.m. in the morning, mama was heaven sent. Return to sender cause her mission here was well done. I'm reminded every day that I'm truly your son. Not even 4 years later, I wait to go to work. My papa had a heart attack and now again I'm hurt. Holding that hand already cold, just trying to make it warm. All the while, all I wanna do is self-harm. I know that isn't the solution, but I'm so numb. I take a deep breath in, don't know what I become. I exhale slow so I don't go into panic mode. Close my eyes just to escape the aura and dead souls. Open look in the reflection, I don't know who I see, but the man in the mirror isn't me. I don't know who I am anymore. Searching for a piece of the piece to restore. Rest in peace to the pieces that were part of the lore. This is for the lost souls, thank you for your Have you legacy. Ever felt your heart break in real time? That's exactly how I felt the day my granny died. Me and that lady there, we had a really special bond. We shared a soul of return, the vibe that correspond. I lost a part of me that day, I didn't know what to think. Now I'm out here trying to fill these voids, iron out the kinks. Even that led to this trauma, sent me to therapy. Best decision I ever made was making this canopy. Trying to weather this storm and fix this heart of mine. Rebuilding the blocks of my spirit one step at a time. In the moment that I felt like everything aligned, I get a call I didn't expect, baby, your uncle died. Can't be the reason that eternity became a thing. Cause he believed in me enough to invest in a dream. Take a look in the mirror, now I know what I see. The dream is me, and this is my legacy. My legacy, I didn't know who I was anymore. Now I found a piece of the piece to restore. Rest in peace to the pieces that were part of the lore. This is for the lost souls, thank you for your legacy.
All right, man. That was Legacy by Eternity. Where's his IG? I'm sorry, where's IG? But it'll come back up momentarily. And if y'all want to reach out to Eternity, man, please click on the link. How you felt about the music, Mr. Guinn?
It was amazing, brother. I know. Where's that artist out of?
You know what? I'm not 100% sure. I got to go back and look at the bio, the information, but that was my first time hearing it, and I'm definitely became a fan. Like as soon as he started off, I was like, oh yeah, yeah, this brother got something to say.
It was clear. It was amazing. Lyrics were strong. Just a good tempo, man. I loved it.
All right. So I've done some poetry in Texas, more so the Houston area, but
Okay.
Dallas Fort Worth area is just where poetry's at. So what inspired you to create poetry platforms in DFW?
Well, like I know, sometimes you can go to these spaces and they're on point. They're about the artist. It's not just clubs, you know, pimping our platform, just for drinks and food sales. You know what I'm saying? And then and some of those places would, not they say 8 to 10, but end up starting at 10 and not over. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to create something that was more professional, that actually started on time. I mean, I have nothing. If I got time, I'll stick around. I mean, that's fine. But I want to create something where folks, 35 to 50 who don't have that time to waste on a weeknight. They got to go to work in the morning, and so they can have something that starts and ends on time. And so that became my niche. And so I wanted to do that, man. I want to create these spaces where these folks could come and sell books and be featured and get paid and all the other things and support the business. Because the business support us, then we support them back. Those businesses that understand, we can't do this for free. We got to charge. You got to give us something, and really, really promote and really are about that culture and that life and creating those safe spaces for us. I partner with them, so our integrities kind of matched up, and so it became something that I want to do. I host 5 open mics, around this area, and then I kind of do a lot of other things. But I really enjoy it, and I really just wanted to do it because I wanted to see these events really support the artist.
Now, what makes a poetry community healthy and sustainable in your opinion?
Um, if everybody is for everybody, if you're not just for a buck, trying to make money, if you're not about bravado and it's all about me and, look at what I'm doing and all that good stuff. And that's the thing. I tend to shy away from, spaces that, the host does 15 poems and he runs out of time for the, you know what I'm saying? I tend to avoid those spaces, and that's not healthy. That's not healthy for the culture to be someone that does that. I tend to try to make sure that if I'm going to a space, that it's a space that I've looked at and saw the venue and see what else they have going on. But being healthy means that we it's not just about who is the dopest poet. It's about where the dopest poet lends their talent and what they're doing away from the mic, as well. So I try to do a lot of that, almost to a fault, because I sometimes I don't even make any money, but at least we had a dope show, and that's all that matters. So if we had more of those venues that understood that mission, then the community would be a lot healthier. And I'm not just talking about locally, I'm talking about, nationally.
Now, you also mentor. You also do your share of mentoring when it comes down to poetry and just life in general. So I would like to know, what do you look for in a strong performance poet?
Fearless. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
You can be the best writer in the world, but if you don't have confidence, if you're afraid of an audience, you need them to grow you. When our audience, is like a garden. It's like they help cultivate us. So you have to be fearless, and then that fearlessness creates a foundation for everything else that comes after that. So if you're fearless and you're willing to take advice, if these people can take it, sometimes you'll tell somebody something. Oh, I know that already. Well, if you knew that, why weren't you doing it before you came to me? You know what I'm saying? So I folks that are open minded and that are fearless and that will do exactly what you ask. Those tend to be people that I gravitate towards and end up being friends with too. Besides being mentors.
So for those same, like those younger poets who really have difficult stories, like how do you create a safe space for them?
Um, the same safe space that I would have for anybody of all ages is the same safe space that you can have for those folks. But I do know that younger folks are don't have a lot of lived experience, life experience. So they tend to be a little bit shyer. So you have to be able to understand that not only is the venue needs to be safe, but the people that you put them around need to be safe as well. And because that all goes into nurturing and providing support and a foundation for these poets.
Loving this, loving this. So we're gonna change the direction a little bit, start talking more so about your actual writing. How do you approach writing a new piece?
Um, how I approach it is how almost everybody else approaches it. Um, for me, it could be an inspiration, that I could, that grabs hold of me and I write. Or it could be waking up in the middle of the night, like a lot of poets do, around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and you can't get this out of your head and you got to write it down. You may come back to it later, but you got to start it. So how I approach writing is with an open mind. I realize that the writing, actually the writing writes itself. I'm amused for it. It's just my hand moving. You know, I believe that we need to understand that in order to be good vessels for the art and artistry, we have to be able to allow ourselves to just be free. And I can't describe it. You know what I'm talking about. Just get free. Just be free. Like your mind is free. It's almost like taking a deep breath and then write. You know what I'm saying? So, but sometimes it's writing on demand. Sometimes it's hey Mike, I need a poem for my daughter's birthday. You know what I'm saying? It could be that. Or what I often do a lot of times is that I'll do this at the very beginning of a show. I'll take words from the audience. I'll take words and I'll write them down. Then I'll come back and I will have written a poem from those words. But the reason why I do that is because it gives those poets who are waiting a gauge to what the audience is feeling. So if half of those words are blessed, grace, God, oh my, like spiritual, then the audience is kind of feeling spiritual, not necessarily the original religious poem, but spiritual connection. So it's a way to help the poets, be like, oh, aha, I see. Well, if you hear somebody say, the P word or something else, then there's some in the audience that want to back. You know what I'm saying? So I have to put, the P word in with God in the same poem and make it work. But the main thing is that it keeps the audience there. They're gonna wait to the end, and if they wait to the end, they won't leave and miss that poet who's got something for them. You know what I'm saying? So that's just kind of my strategy, man. And another way that I approach writing.
That's dope. I never, I've heard about you doing that with the word. I'm like, man, that's a really dope, dude. That's a dope talent. But I didn't know that you had something diabolical behind it. Like that was pretty dope. So
Right.
I still can't do it, but that freestyle, I can't do that shit.
Yeah, I can't
Um,
either. It takes me a while to it takes me the duration of that open mic to in between hosting and the break and selling merchandise and all this stuff. Somehow or another, I put together a piece using those words, and I've actually written a book that I'm getting ready to publish from all those pieces. So that's like that's it just worked out that way. So it has a triple effect. It provides an opportunity for the poets to see how the audience is feeling. It's entertaining when I come back with the poem, but then it also provides me material for a book.
that's, mm, yeah, I'm learning as we're doing this interview. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take this little nugget here. This is dope. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So to you, in your opinion, what's the difference between performing for competition and performing for healing?
Performing like the poem I did for my mom was a poem for healing, right? But
Mhm.
sometimes those poems for healing are still good for competitions if you're not worried about what the outcome is going to be. You know, I mean, sometimes you are giving testimony when you're doing those poems to an audience where someone in the audience needs to hear that. Maybe that someone is one of the judges. You know what I'm saying? So, I believe that it's interchangeable. You know what I'm saying? The first time I did that poem was in Chicago, 2003, at the National Poetry Slam competition in Chicago, and I think at that time I was ranked like number 457 or something. You know what I'm saying? I had done a poem, it got like a 27, whatever. And then I did that poem and got a perfect 50 in 2003, and it brought me up to number 20 in the country. So, I don't know, man. As long as you're able to not be offended if you decide to share a poem that you wrote for your healing in a competition, then it's fine. Do it for you. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people, they have different ideas about that. What do you think about it? I'm curious.
For me, it's not for me personally. It's not a big difference to me
Right.
because like I don't really. I've only been in one actual competition. It was a slam, and that's when I met and lost to Wayne Henry. So it's like so.
Hey, we all have lost to Wayne Henry. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, like Wayne is just different. Like
Yeah,
I've already decided that
yeah, he did,
Wayne is just he's not human.
and he's
Um,
awesome.
but the piece that I'm not gonna say the piece he won with. I'm gonna say his last piece because he had won round one,
Yeah,
but it was a very emotional piece, and it almost seemed like it was a healing piece for him.
right,
So I think for me it would be like my healing pieces would probably be my best competition pieces because my
right.
healing pieces shows more of my emotion.
There you go. There it is, right there. And the audience connect to emotions.
Yeah.
All audiences do.
So you are affiliated with the Grammys, recording art, like all of that. How did you become affiliated with that?
Well, I'll start with the NAACP Image Awards. Um, you know, one year, I received an email from them saying that they were looking for people who were, passionate about, providing platforms and didn't have a whole lot of drama and were consistent. And so they told me that they had watched me for 3 years. So
Mm,
imagine you're doing things, you're going about your community, you're posting online, pictures, flyers, you're just, doing stuff every week, and you get this call saying, hey, we'd like to consider you for, for a judge of of the literary arts category. We watched you for 3 years, and you seem to be very consistent, and so I accepted, and that was 10 years ago. 10 years ago. So I've been a voting member for them for 10 years, and I've actually gone the last 4 years to the Image Awards. So it met everybody. I mean, just last year I was sitting in front of the weigh-ins, and which got the award, and then here comes Kerry Washington, and there's Cynthia Erivo, and it's just I'm sitting front row, man. So I love being able to do that. But the bottom line is that I get to be a representative of the poetry community, not just Dallas poetry community or Fort Worth, but a representative of the poetry community that's actually a judge that is in good standing at that level. So if there's any opportunities, I'm able to share them with folks. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I perceive that. And then with the Grammys, same thing, man. I had somebody say you'd make a good Grammy judge, and I had just submitted an album for Grammy consideration. I didn't get in, but that didn't mean that they didn't. That what happened is they see that when they see you doing this stuff, they go to all your other pages and they see you doing stuff and they see you doing this and they are aware that you tried to apply and a friend of mine said, I'm gonna co-sign for you. And then somebody else who has to be a Grammy member co-signed for me. And I don't even know who it is to this day. All I know is that I got in August. I mean in July, and the rest is history. I'm going to a Grammy party tomorrow. Here in Texas. So I'm just having a chance to be a part. And again, if people just trust that, I can be a little bit television. I can be a little bit, Mike Guinn. But at the same time, I know that I know that I'm going to come back and say, listen, I know I might have been rough around the edges, but I don't mean I didn't see your talent. And here's the opportunity over here, and go see this guy. And if I, because I can't do everything, and I'm not going to try and do everything. That's another thing, man. People around here trying to do everything. If somebody says, "Hey, Mike, I'm looking for a female poet to do a conference," and a lot of people say, well, what about me? I can do it. Let me do it for you. Well, I'm gonna find that female poet who I've connected and knew about, and I'm gonna put her in. So I always have been that way. So it's the same thing with the NAACP Image Awards and the Grammys. If I get a chance, if there's a window of opportunity, I'm gonna share it like I'm sharing everything else.
Man, okay. So yeah, we definitely gonna talk behind the scenes.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
got
sir.
some questions and interest.
I got you. Whatever you
So,
need.
so let's just say we're at a performance, we're at a slam or a big feature, and you have the option to be either the MC or the artist. Which one do you love more?
I love the MC, man. I love to guide the venue. The reason why is because I believe that the MC is the most underrated component in an event. A lot of folks will hire an MC and they think that all they do is, make announcements and do that. And, even Pookie can come up and MC. My cousin Pookie can MC, you know what I'm saying? But a real good MC creates the atmosphere. He knows how to keep the room going, not take over, just enough to, keep it going. And I would like to be able to guide and have guided many spaces. Matter of fact, all I do now is I get more for MC and, conferences and keynote speaker than ever before. I mean, I can't tell you, man, brother, I 2026, it's an amazing side job that's almost an actual job. I mean, right now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have over $22,000 in contracts for 2026 already, and that's just through March. Okay, so I don't really promote all that. I promote the stuff and all that, but I don't really talk about my business like that because it is a business. But there's an opportunity for all of us. And as soon as I did these TED Talks, my IPV is going to go off the roof. So that's my personal value is going to go off the roof. So it's going to be even more. So I want to be able to share that information with people who are about their business. And if you're not about your business, then you got no business talking to me. And that's just where I am. I'm
Mm,
sorry. All right.
speak on it. All right, I got two more questions to ask you before I turn over the stage to
Sure.
you one more time.
All right.
First question. If you could collaborate with any artist, living or gone, who would it be and why?
Oh man. You know what? If I could collaborate with any artist, I'd have to say Talam Macy, man. Talam Macy.
Mm,
If not Talam AC, it would be Langston Hughes because that Harlem Renaissance, that movement, man, that was a movement. I would love to know and be a part of that. I mean, but yeah, Talam is here, man. He's amazing. I've had him here a few times, man, over the years, and he's incredible. Oh, Ed Mabry too, Ed Mabry. So yeah,
mm.
I'm just saying, any of those two, man. I would love to. I would love to collab with, man.
And last question. What advice would you give an up and coming artist that is ready to just put their foot in the water, ready to hit that stage for the very first time?
I would say that two things. One, professionally, when you hit a stage, it often means that you negotiated some type of payment or compensation. Sometimes, I would say that that to that artist, make sure you have your your how you get paid. You know you know have that straight. ACH. whatever it is, contracts, fee scales, all that stuff. I would say if they're at that level already, where they're hitting stages, then I would tell them to consider having that portion done. And the other thing is, make sure that there's good video, because video is priceless. You got to have good video. If anything, if you don't have any more money in the world, hire a cameraman to come and do the different angles and stuff and have that video. It can lead to more stages. That's what I would say. Everything else we can work out, but I would tell that person to do that. Now, obviously, if they're hitting stages, then someone saw something in them that made them think that, they've got it. Their poem or performance or their presence, or their attitude, made them ready for a stage. And I would just say, if you're gonna get ready for a stage, that you have someone capture that moment that you hit that stage.
Noted. Spend last dime on cameraman. Got it.
Yeah,
So,
hey, you never know. I've done it, man. I'm telling you, not last time. You know what I'm talking about, man.
oh man, this was exciting.
Yeah.
All right, so one more time, Mike Wynn, I'm gonna leave the stage
Okay.
to you. So the mic and the stage is yours.
Thank you. And thank you to the listening audience. I appreciate y'all. Um, sitting in my living room in North Richland Hills, Texas, waiting for my girl to get home. She's working hard. So I wrote this poem. I'm trying to give you a little bit of everything. A little bit of sensual, a little bit of a soft erotica, a little bit of my life story. So I'm going to share this poem with you. Okay, here it is. It's called Moist. I hope it's okay to share it. Okay. Sometimes I miss you so much that I want to just kidnap your image from my dreams and hold it hostage in my arms forever. Perhaps it's because you move as smooth as Sheba's shadow with a mild smile like tomorrow's morning is amazing as a queen's style. You are every woman. You remind me of a beautiful tragedy, tragically magical and as mysteriously unpredictable as a New York sky behind partly cloudy eyes. And I never know when you're going to rain or shine. But you know what? I can't wait to get wet. I wonder if I leave daylight at your doorstep and bathe you in springtime, will the seasons become you? If I cultivate kisses of never ending rhythm from the twilight of my eyes and plant rainbows between your thighs, will you grow Jill Scott's afro inside? Because I don't want to just lift up your dress and make a mess with hot sex. And I refuse to devour all the moonlight in your midnight till the sun sets. Oh, hell no, that would be too damn easy. But for one night, for one soul satisfying night, your nipples will become tic tacs for nymphomaniacs, bold, bald, and black. And I'm just 6 kisses from that soggy sensation there. Where? There. And all I have to do is follow the goosebumps to the gospel of your G spot and leave hallelujahs in the hush of your smile. Why? Because I can. Shit, I'm just two numb thumbs for licking you another language. I'll run away. And when I'm done teasing all the right reasons, you'll need a day planner to organize the orgasms and a road map to keep track of the spasms. Where? There? Where? And ain't nothing I wouldn't do for you. Hell, I'd even clone myself so you'd have two. And then we'd have a threesome, just me, and you. We'll leave day screens between bed sheets and teeth marks beneath pillows and give the two fur to rest. I'll taste your wiggles, chase your wiggles till I hear you say, Daddy. And just because I'm older, don't mean I won't bang in your white teeth, leave stains on your white teeth. Woman, I'll suck your big toe, make your pinky toe jealous, make vibrators that salute me when I walk by. That's why I'll write this way, recite this way, and by the end of this poem, I'll bite this way. Leave you as helpless as a hummingbird without wings in a tornado of tongues. Why am I saying all this? Well, it's because I'm obviously trying to make you moist. I want to open up your mind and make you moist. Take the time to make you moist there. Where? There. Because love is the best damn orgasm the heart could ever have. And ladies, me and the fellas do the same thing you do. Spiritual sunshine when it's cloudy and the soul is blue. And in the morning when I'm awake beside you, I want to smell what you ate the night before in the crease of your smile. Me. Taste the dewdrops in your daybreak and know that you are satisfied here. Where? Right here. And when the day ends and we're lying inside each other's arms again, I want to cover you in my drops with kisses that won't chop. caress you with the until you won't stop, and it won't stop until you get moist. Anyway, that's my little writing piece right there, y'all. All right. So this next poem is an old poem, y'all. It's a poem um, that I wrote after getting shot twice in Sacramento. Um, Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. Uh, Coming home from a poetry venue in Sacramento, two people pulled up behind me. They must have thought I had some money. I was on the phone with my mom talking, and when I said, "Mom, no, hold on, let me, look at the wind. Let me turn around, let these guys know I'm not gonna be here." And as soon as I turned to the window and rolled it down, the guy was pointing a gun at my head, and pulled the trigger, and the gun jammed. He cleared the chamber, shot me once in the knee. By that time, his buddy was on the other side of the car trying to beat in the glass to get to my backpack. And then this guy, I grabbed the gun, and the guy, pulled it away from me and cleared the chamber and shot me. Tried to shoot me in the chest, and the gun jammed again. So by that time, I thought it was over. He shot me again in the thigh. He shot me in the knee, shot me in the thigh. I broke out running. He shot one more time, and then I turned around and they were gone. Car was still there. Car still running. I just came back to the car, hung up the phone, and drove myself to the hospital. So this is a poem I wrote. Trying to explain why two black men would try to take my life. It's called In Our Heaven. There's a darkness still bleeding from this wound, because where I'm from, it's become a place without drums for children, just a slum in need of rebuilding. America. You see, in our heaven, there are no streets of gold or angels standing at crystal podiums waiting to greet you at the pearly gates. There are no harps or rainbows or grand pianos, nothing beautiful. And maybe this is why children hoping for brighter tomorrows keep slipping through the cracks. To get to our heaven, you just step through a hole in a barbed wire fence leading to an empty playground where dead pygmies hang from monkey bars like little pot-bellied bats whose wings have been clipped by an angry god too busy to answer prayers. Near the entrance, there's a giant dumpster overflowing with the battered spirits of abandoned babies screaming for their teenage mothers, and I suppose that's where lost souls go. Inside, a man wearing a Make America Great Again t-shirt smiles like a pimp as he checks his list for Section 8 rape and motions to a rickety wooden ladder where black cats circle and grin. In the courtyard, Billie Holiday sits beneath a hanging tree, sits beneath a hanging tree with new-shaped leaves, clutching an empty syringe, dying from spiritual laryngitis. To my left, Martin stands barefoot, handcuffed, surrounded by Confederate soldiers yelling, "Ain't no dreams here, nigga. You took the wrong damn turn at the mountain." To my right, the Klan rapes Abe Lincoln. Malcolm is on his back in a straitjacket, and James Byrd is still running behind that truck in Jasper, Texas, struggling to pick the pieces of his soul. In our heaven. The police played paintball with the blood of black children while Proud Boys placed bets, and the ancestors just sit on stumps like black leprechauns watching as priests turn pedophiles drool as they wait for little Hunsels and Grettels to lose their way. And history makes damn sure they do by leaving trails of scattered remains of a million slaves in our heaven. The bombing of the 16th Street Baptist Church is a national celebration where heroes like Hitler and Hoover propose a toast to the ghost of dead daughters. And anyone caught believing themselves, anyone, would have their spirits lynched by the ropes of their own hope, because in our heaven, it's a sin to dream. Foster homes become concentration camps for children starving for attention, and there ain't no such thing as college because knowledge is not the key to success. And here, they don't give a damn if you don't do your best because it don't matter. This don't matter. We don't matter. You see, this is what them niggas see in their heaven. If things don't change, this is all they'll be in their heaven. This is what they believe their heaven to be. Because in their heaven, there is no tomorrow, just a hell of living today. Anyway, that was my way of reconciling what's up. What's why maybe they just didn't have anything to live for. Maybe they didn't believe in heaven or hell. So I wrote that piece. Do that, and my final piece is a piece that I wrote a long time ago, y'all. But I like to read new pieces sometimes. Um, this piece right here is a piece that, well, I one of those dreams, and I was, you know, uh, dealing with some stuff, and I just wanted to write it. But I wanted to read these older pieces because I wanted you to see the evolution of the poet. In other words, I want you to see um, where I started and then where I am now. So I wanted to share that. But here's one of these older pieces. It's called Nigology. And it was me again trying to explain, what's going on with our people. So here it is. Raging blackness consumes me. It confuses my muse with melted black jazz. I don't know why, and I never thought to ask. But what I do know is, with this creation of words, I'm on the verge. My verbs dispersed as emotions submerged. My rhythm is cursed, my momentum disturbed. My voice is silent, my dreams deferred. While running on empty, my mistakes follow me. My spirit gets lost in foolish ideology. If I could just stand, be a man, and stop making apologies, then my anthology will be more than a history of nigology. Y'all, there has to be a reason for wasted wishes. Broken broomstick reminders of hate's little kisses. Death follows me close, chasing with switches. With my heart defeated, my future lies in stitches. Listen, I hear the ancestors screaming at my soul. You better run, son. You better run. Somehow I've got to break free before it's too late. I've got to stay strong and make my escape. Hate binds me, confines me deep down inside me. No hope, I can't cope, and the mirror reminds me that you better run, son. You better run. But while shaving, I begin raving, my thoughts misbehaving, cutting edges between the verbs from the words I'm saying. Slick incantations curse my translations. The fire hot burns down my black nation. Now reflections of sin speak in tongues again. Restricted from me, my will gives in. This disease, striptease, steals moments like thieves. On bloody knees, I'm begging, get out of me, please. Lord, I wish this hate would just leave me be. Somehow I've got to find a way to get this nigga out of me. There's my poem.
Brother, brother, I thoroughly enjoyed having you on this show today. Like this,
I appreciate it.
this was an experience. This was definitely an experience. I know you got a lot going on, so as much as you can, please let everybody here know where they can find you, where your next event's coming up, where they can purchase merchandise, anything of that nature. Let everybody know where they can follow your pen.
Well, first of all, y'all need to follow this wonderful platform right here. That's what y'all need to do. Y'all follow this platform. This brother right here is doing amazing things. This has been a very professional, your whole team, the questions, you allow me the space to do 6 poems. I mean, I love it. I haven't done 6 poems in years, so I really appreciate that. But, folks can just follow me at the link that's online. That's, on IG at Mike Guinn Entertainment, and of course, MikeGuinnEntertainment.com. Everything is there. It's a lot, but yeah, it's there, y'all. So I really appreciate you, brother. Let me have this space.
No doubt, no doubt. Thank you again for coming through. We gonna bring you downstage real quick.
Okay.
And man, this was an exciting time. But everybody, PenTellectuals, man, y'all know what time it is. It's time for the Let's Run It segment where we introduce none other than my bestie, Dara Kalima, aka the community poet, aka the poetic sadist, aka she's probably gonna kick me for talking. Like shit. You muted. Oh, I get to talk cash shit.
You
Yes.
know what?
Ah,
You're right. I'm like,
duh.
I ain't gotta fight with you. You're right. I'm not even.
I I'm gonna make sure this segment of the show, I'm gonna like block that part out and I'm gonna save it. The hearing you say you're right, that should have never happened again. Like, yes, if I can get Yoshi to
I
do it.
Yoshi's a different issue. I say it all the time when you happen to be correct.
Oh,
Do
I
I
thought you
not?
said to make me shut up. That's what I've always thought.
Sometimes you make salient points, and when they are there, I give it to you. So that'll say, "Hey, bestie, great show. Wonderful conversation today.
Thank you. What we got going?
So, December 13th. If you happen to be in Atlanta and you're hanging out on Ralph David Abernathy Boulevard, just saying that to mess with you, um, you have to come to this event. Art Out Loud Open Mic. You got to chill edition, and it's featuring our one and only Ebony the Goddess. So that is taking place on December 13th. You better be there. Doors open at 5:30. Show is from 6 to 8. You can get your tickets on Eventbrite. So you definitely want to be there because Ebony's been on a tour, and that's an experience you don't want to miss. I'm mad I'm
Don't
not
want to
in
miss the
Atlanta.
Every the God show. You don't want to miss
I
that.
feel like I got to get down there at some point just so I can see it in real life because just what I've seen in snippets is just so. That said, continuing on the Ebony the Goddess tour. Christmas is coming. The holidays are coming. More of the holidays are coming. We already had one. I know everyone tries to be on the good list, but the naughty list is where it's at sometimes. So December 20th, in Mobile, Alabama. I can't even see your face, but I said it right.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. If you'd have said that shit wrong, I was gonna be on your ass this last episode. Nuh-uh.
For the last episode, I had to get it right. So if you are hanging out in Alabama, on North Broadway Street, there is an event happening called the Naughty List. I'm sure you just made fun of me, but leave me alone. December 20th. There's going to be live music. There's going to be erotic poetry. There's going to be hookah. There's going to be drinks. All you need to do is call or text 251-202-9090. Again, 251-202-9090. December 20th, the Naughty List. It is featuring Big Crave. It is featuring Poetic Nature. It is featuring Ebony the Goddess. And it is featuring Yoshi the Dragon. There's too much talent on that stage to not be there. So make sure you were there if you're in Alabama. And then, even though it just happened and the next one's coming up soon, but not soon enough, next year when we are in 2026, you definitely do not want to miss the experience, the Essential Saturdays. It is featuring Amazon Bond. There is erotic poetry, there is music, there is burlesque, there is food, there are demos, there are games. This is led to you or spotlighting Walking Erotica, and is hosted by Jay Simone. And that is taking place in Atlanta on West Peachtree Street. There's a lot of Peachtree streets there. That said, you want to be there January 31st. I think I have covered all the things, and make sure you check out any event that Mike Guinn is doing, whether you're doing it on Clubhouse or you in Texas. It's the place to be. And we're done for the year for 2025, right? But you can always watch our shows. You can watch also Poppy's Poetry Corner on YouTube and see what we do in both shows. Because that I know you're gonna miss us, but you can miss us a little watching us while we out. Cool, great show, bestie. Enjoy the rest of it.
Bet. Oh man. All right. Whew, man. Season 1 is officially over. And before we wrapped up the final show, like, I want to take a moment. I want to thank everybody. Thank the followers, the viewers. Thank y'all for showing up, tuning in, sharing, supporting, pushing, reposting, like everything, man. We're taking a short break, like Dora told you. We'll be back January 6th. And we're going to come back with the same dope poetry, deep dialogue, and unapologetically real energy. But before I go, man, I have to give love to some special people, man, who make all of this possible. Like, you see my face all the time. But without these people, like, none of this would be possible at all. And I know I get on their nerves in a ranking scale. And that first person that I'm going to talk about, I get on her nerves the absolute most. But she is such a big reason why PenTellectual is doing what it's doing. Yoshi, I want to thank you for all of your contributions, like putting up with my bullshit, because Lord knows I can be a lot to deal with. You know, like I have ideas about shit and don't know how to implement the ideas, and you know, you find a way to do what I need you to do, even with the threats of chopping me in my throat. But every time you threaten me, it's well deserved. But I just want to say that I love you and I thank you for everything that you do. Ebony the Goddess, man, you have completely flipped the social media presence upside down. Like the amount of viewers, the engagement, all of that, man. I thank you so much for the time that you've taken to make PenTellectual something that people search for now. You know, so you just, I love you. I love you. To my best friend, my stage manager, the thorn in my ass at times, and I'm pretty sure I'm a thorn in hers, man. Thank you for keeping me grounded. Like, it's been moments where I wanted to give up on shit, and you wouldn't let me. And I thank you for not letting me. You know, just you've done a lot for me in my personal life that I really love you for. To PPC, oh shit, what's up?
I'm just going. Well, you say the PPC part, and then I'll be quiet, and then I'll go. You go. I'll watch.
To our sister show, Poppy's Poetry Corner, man, definitely part of the family. I want to thank you, Keynotes, for all the support backstage, us running it, just being that energy that I needed at times. Shout out to Mystic and Angel Kim for all y'all creativity and dedication to the show. Like, y'all help elevate that show. We help elevate y'all. Y'all help elevate us. Like, none of it goes unnoticed. Just want to say we love and appreciate all of you. What were you getting ready to say?
I was gonna say, before you say your final thoughts, of course we gotta give props to the person who said, I will host and make this happen. The brainchild, the image, the man that's ahead of in front of the scene, the camera. Paul Cram, the poet. Thank you for being an extraordinary host and for making space for all of the people who have been on this stage that you have gotten to interview, that we've all gotten to learn from. Thank you for being you and just creating amazing dialogue. I'm done. Great job.
Thank you. To the PenTellectuals, that's the followers, supporters, man. I love y'all for real. Like, you're pretty much the heartbeat of this movement. Like, without y'all, there wouldn't be no reason for us to do this. All our sponsors, supporters, friends, family, thank y'all for believing in this platform and pushing it forward. Like, this was a fun time, and I can't wait till January 6th for us to start doing this again. So this is the last show of the season, but it's nowhere near the last chapter. So tune in next season, man. Come back with us, roll with us, celebrate with us. But until next season, we out.
Thank you for vibing with us. We hope tonight's conversation inspired a creative spark in you. So go out and show the world who you really are. And we'll see you next time on PenTellectual Conversations.